Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and today we are watching episode 11 of season 5 of Supernatural. So I'm really excited for this because last time was fantastic and really important. Like it really was really consequential. That's the word, right? Yeah, that's the word. Last time around we found the cult and used the cult. Like it was huge. It didn't work. It doesn't work. There are 5 things that the cult cannot kill, and Lucifer is one of them. That makes me really curious as to what the other 4 are. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. So, starting at the beginning, last time around we were introduced to this guy Crowley. He seems like kind of a big shot. I think that because partly because of who they got playing him. I don't know if he's maybe that's just projecting because I really liked him and he was fairly consequential in Firefly, and that's why I think he's going to be that here as well. Don't know. What's his name? Mark Shepard, I think. Anyways, he seems like he's in charge of the deals, the Crossroads demons, and he wanted to help Sam and Dean because he's convinced that Lucifer is gonna, once Lucifer's done taking care of humanity, he's gonna come for the demons next. And Crowley kind of likes the status quo. He doesn't want to rock the boat unnecessarily. So he wants to get rid of Lucifer and get back to the way things were, the way things used to be. So he gave us the cult and told us to take care of this mess. And then he ditched. And I'm sure it's not the last we're going to see of him. I'm sure he's going to be back. I don't know if it's going to be this season or the next, or I don't know. Should probably be this season, right? Because at the moment he's just like a strange one-off. I don't think he will remain that way. We'll see. Then we managed to find where Lucifer was hanging out. He was in a town and he was going to perform a ritual of sorts, a spell, I guess, no, a ritual, to summon Death, the horseman. And it was a really big thing. So we even got help, like back when the episode started. Basically the first person we saw was Jo. And yeah, she was involved. And Ellen as well. They took a more active role this season than they have in quite a while. We haven't seen them basically since season 2. And they were in the second episode of this season. And now they were in the previous episode as well. They went with Dean and Sam to this town to try to prevent Lucifer from completing the ritual. Unfortunately, it went sideways when Meg showed up and sicked a bunch of hellhounds on our lovely heroes and ended up with, unfortunately, Jo and Ellen dying. I think that they did that because they didn't have a place for Jo and Ellen, and they wanted to kill them off, basically. They were... When you're making stories, if it's someone who's had such an influential role as Jo and Ellen has had, it's been a while since they have been influential, but they were very influential at one point. That means that you can't just forget about them. I mean, you can, I guess, but it's more satisfying if you give them if you write them out properly, as in so people can't come and say that, did you forget about these characters? What are they doing? So as soon as things started going a bit sideways, it was obvious what was going to happen. They were going to die, and they did. So they sacrificed themselves to take care of the hellhounds and make sure that Dean and Sam could get face to face with the devil and use the cult. And they did. And it didn't go well. It didn't work. But hey, at least now we know for sure that the cult doesn't work. So now we can start looking for other solutions. I feel like the one option we might have here is Gabriel or Gabriel. He should know something. He doesn't want to get involved. He doesn't want to take an active role, but he seems fairly friendly, and he's an archangel. If anyone will be able to tell us anything, it should be him. Like, he is an archangel, so he should know how to kill an archangel, you know? Like, he doesn't want to say, but like, if anyone can give us answers, it should be him. That's the only lead I can think of right now. Other than that, I don't know. Like, there's spells to make them go away. I think it should work on archangels too, right? Not just regular angels, like the blood spell that we've used on Zachariah and Uriel and Castiel at one point as well. But that's just like a temporary fix. That's just to send Lucifer away, if it works, that is. But like, we need a more permanent solution, and I can't think of anything else. So let's find out some more, I guess. Let's see if we can find some clues and start putting together a plan for how to deal with this mess that we're in currently. As always, though, before we start, I just want to quickly mention the Patreon. On the Patreon, I am like 3 to 4 weeks ahead, 6 to 8 episodes. They're also uncut. They're not edited down like here on YouTube. So if that is something that interests you, feel free to check it out. Link for that is in the description down below. With that said, let's get into episode 11 of season 5 of Supernatural. Glenwood Springs Psychiatric Hospital in Ketchum, Oklahoma.
If I sleep, it'll come.
Nightmares?
I mean the monster. Now we have talked about this.
But it killed Annie.
I think there's an actual monster here in that case.
You get confused sometimes. You see things.
Are you the monster?
Son's standing right behind you. I know.
That might...
He's not real.
He might actually be real. He might be a ghost. You can't count anything out in this show, after all.
Perhaps it's easier for you to conjure up a monster than to face how tragic her suicide really was.
Yeah, in many cases I'm sure that's true. Because like if you create a monster, you can have something that you can defeat.
There is no such thing as monsters.
Oh, you're so wrong, my friend. Oh, that's spooky. And no one's gonna help because she's schizophrenic. Man, that sucks. Man, this must be a great place for monsters to prey on people. Because no one cares. Or maybe they care, but they don't believe. Eddie and Alex Van Halen? Come on, guys. You can't keep getting away with these names.
Isn't there a children's book about an elephant named Babar?
There is, yeah.
I don't have any elephant books.
I don't realize how you can know Babar but not know Van Halen.
The Apocalypse.
Yeah, that's right.
And you think you started it?
I actually did, yeah.
I accidentally freed Lucifer from hell, so now he's topside, and we're trying to stop him.
Lock him up. Get the straitjacket.
Like an angel on your shoulder.
No, his name's Castiel. He wears a trench coat. Should have been done.
It sounds ridiculous.
It's not?
No. There was this other demon, Ruby. She got him addicted to demon blood. I mean, near the end, he was...
You're both crazy, huh?
So could you fix him up so we can get back to traveling around the country and hunting monsters?
Sure thing, dude. Let me just call someone.
Cancel my lunch.
This might be good for you.
All right, you can go ahead and
Actually.
take down your pants.
Wait, what for?
Cavity search time.
Good water pressure. Did the nurse?
She was very thorough.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. Did you enjoy yourself? Probably wasn't very fun, actually, no.
Martin saved Dad's ass more times than we can count. He's a great hunter.
Martin?
Was.
Oh!
Albuquerque.
Okay, so we're going above and beyond with this one. It's like the prison a couple of seasons ago.
And Joe dying, yeah, it was a freaking tragedy, okay? But I'm not gonna wallow in it.
You always do this. You can't just keep this crap in.
Yeah. I mean, Sam is dealing with stuff, but at least he's trying to deal with it somewhat. Dean, he just shuts down. So yeah, this might be really good for him if he tries.
Well, thanks for coming.
It's understandable that a hunter would end up in a place like this, considering the stuff they go through.
Animal, vegetable, mineral.
Yeah.
Hospital's had 5 deaths in the last 4 months.
He's lost a couple of steps.
Has anyone seen this thing?
Well, a couple of patients have had glimpses, but it's not a lot
Yeah,
to go
was there one guy that we saw in the intro who was standing looking at Susan?
I wouldn't have called you unless there was something here. I can feel it in my gut.
Yeah, I mean, you are right.
Why don't you and Mr. Creaser join us for group? Please, right this way.
Do make a serious attempt here, Dean. Don't just be flippant.
The relationship that you have with your brother seems dangerously codependent. I think a little time apart.
It is dangerously codependent. Hey, there he is. That's the guy. Ted, okay?
To talk about the monster that's hunting us.
Ted, we're not going to have that discussion again.
No, let's do have that discussion.
I saw it when it killed Susan.
I did too. It had big lobster claws.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, and it was an alien, like on X-Files.
Stop it!
This is interesting, because I'm sure that these people are struggling and are crazy, you know, whatever that means. So I'm sure there's going to be, like, real information mixed in with imaginary stuff.
I'm Dr. Erica Cartwright. I've been assigned your case.
You're my shrink. Lucky me.
I don't think it's going to work, dude.
I got some questions for you.
What a coincidence. I've got some for you, too.
Well then, quid pro quo, Clarice.
That's awesome.
I hunt demons, monsters, that kind of thing.
How many drinks do you have a week?
Well, I gotta sleep sometimes, so what's 7 days times 8? Somewhere in the mid-50s.
When was the last time you were in a long-term relationship?
Ooh, that's never. This is a very interesting conversation.
Tell me you found something.
Yeah. Guy says he saw the creature. We should talk to him. Want to meet back here in an hour?
Yeah,
It's going to be an interesting conversation, that too, I'm guessing. That's one way to say hello, I guess. What's her deal, I wonder?
This place isn't so bad after all.
Nymphomaniac?
Dude,
Maybe?
cannot hit that.
Oh, so torn.
Dude, don't take advantage of people. That's not okay. Too late. And the constant question, was that a suicide or not? Okay, not.
Found something.
You got
There's something there.
This hole goes all the way through to his brain.
What does that mean?
Don't know.
Let's find out.
Can't just start an autopsy in here, dude. That doesn't look healthy, right? What do I know, actually?
Look, his brain's been sucked dry.
It's fascinating. Somebody's coming.
Yeah, how are you gonna explain this?
Pudding! Crazy works.
Maybe crazy works, but like, I don't know, man. Because there's many different kinds of crazy.
What is it?
Well, I bet you a chicken dinner, it's what we're up against. A wraith.
A wraith,
Crack open
okay.
Skulls and feed on brain juice.
That does sound like what we're dealing with, yeah.
Bad news is they can pass as humans.
Ooh, interesting. So it actually might be the doctor, the guy who admitted them and so on.
I mean, what's it doing in a mental hospital?
Nut houses. It's a perfect captive victim pool.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Who's gonna...
And maybe the brains of crazy people are extra tasty or something. Because they're like chemically imbalanced or something. I don't know.
So I could be a monster.
No, you're clean.
So is there a quota? How many people do you have to save?
All of them.
All of them?
That's a lot, dude.
I mean, it's a damn biblical apocalypse. And if I don't stop it and save everyone, then no one will, and we all die.
Crushing weight to have on your shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, he's used to it.
How do you get up in the morning?
Alcohol.
Hello, Eddie.
Doc,
See? What did I say? Although it is like halfway through the episode, so I'm suspicious.
They're only silver plated. They should work.
Oh no, not this one.
I want him now. He's larger.
He is pretty large, yeah.
All three of us.
What? No.
Martin.
I used to think I was invincible. And then, well, I found out I'm not.
Martin.
No, no one is.
I'm sorry, I can't.
Unfortunate. But I mean, I'm sure we'll be fine. Like, if it is this doctor guy, I don't know. If it is him, then there must be some complications. Because it seems like we're on the prowl now and gonna find him and take care of him. Which means that the episode should soon be over, but it's not. Yeah, his skin didn't crack, right? You're freaking the dude out.
The cut's not burning. It's not him.
Yeah, it was too early. You're in trouble now, Sam.
Okay?
No, I'm not okay. I.
He's probably drugged out of his mind.
It's spectacular.
Oh, Sam.
I don't understand it. I mean, I saw it in the mirror. It wasn't human.
No, we saw that too.
Maybe you're going crazy.
I'm not crazy.
No, I don't know.
Are really, for real, crazy.
I made a
Maybe.
mistake. That's all.
But I mean, no, it wasn't a mistake. You looked in the mirror and, I mean, we saw it. I don't know, man. There's something going on here.
It's not my life that I'm worried about.
Oh my God. I am fine, okay? I'm fine.
Come on.
What was that?
You got Ellen and Joe killed. You shot Lucifer, but you couldn't gank him. You couldn't stop Sam.
Oh,
from
she's...
Lilith and- Oh, yeah, you
what
wrote
the
the
heck?
first
So, is it her? Like, she's, she knows things that she shouldn't know.
Hey, settle down.
Tell me!
I said settle down.
Yeah, that's what I thought this meant. He's talking to no one.
Who?
Will you blind her?
Pal, there's nobody there.
You're losing it, dude.
You are going crazy.
No, I don't know. I think... I don't know. Okay, we can't trust Dean this time. Everyone's a monster. I mean, right? There must be something doing this to him, right?
There's no such thing as monsters.
Glad to hear you say that.
Oh, is it a demon now?
The anger I saw in you.
Okay, never mind. Guess not.
You hurt those two men, and you were going to kill me.
Yeah, he's gone a bit dark. You
Like
leave him
a man
alone.
Possessed.
Like, I'm reading too much into basically everything. Like him using the word possessed there. Makes me think that the doctor and maybe some of the orderlies are demons. And I don't know, man.
Hey. Oh, what's wrong?
I have no idea who it could be.
Your arrogance, the black spot on your soul.
Now we're all gonna die because of you. It's all your
Why are they going so crazy in here? These hallucinations has to be part of it, right?
Leave me alone! No! Stop it! Leave me alone! Leave me alone! I didn't do it!
Oh, I just realized it must be the nurse that that we've been seeing that found them in the morgue and stuff, because the doctor that Dean was talking to was imaginary, and it's not the real doctor, you know, the guy who was just talking to Sam, and it needs to be someone that we've met, I think. It can't just be someone random. So it must be her then, because she's the only one remaining, basically.
I'm seeing things, I'm hearing things. We both are. Crazy is the clue.
What do you
Yeah, thank you. Crazy is the clue. Is it the nymphomaniac girl, the woman? Because Dean was going crazy first.
Freaking out on the same day. I mean, it's gotta be the monster. What? Where? No, there's nothing there.
Oh man, this is a really good episode.
It makes people insane. Is it possible to say? Does that seem real?
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it make the doctors and orderlies insane, and nurses?
Maybe with venom, you know, by touch, or venom, or saliva.
Yeah, maybe a kiss.
Wendy slobbered all over me and Sam.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, it's her or the nurse. Just leave him to it, dude. Just let him be. Yeah, it is the nurse. Come on, Martin, you can do this. I believe in you.
She's still alive.
Yeah, maybe you can try to keep her that way.
Dean, run! Run!
Man, you're really going crazy. Oh, you got the padded room, huh?
Crazy brains. They get soaked in dopamine and
Yeah, see?
adrenaline and...
I said that's why I said crazy brains are different. They taste better, apparently.
When you're right, I make all of your problems disappear.
Yeah, by basically lobotomizing them. Something I find fascinating is that everything knows how to fight, like hand to hand. Yeah, break it. That worked surprisingly well. Are you gonna be on the hook for her murder now as well? Or is something gonna happen? Yeah, it's time to ditch this place.
Most of the time I can hide it. But I am angry. I'm mad at everything. I
Yeah,
used to be mad at you and Dad.
you do have some anger issues.
So what if you are? What are you gonna do? You're gonna take a leave of absence? You're gonna forget
No.
about it? Because that's how we keep going. That's how we
Dude.
don't end up like Martin.
Don't bury it, acknowledge it. Like, it's good to be aware of stuff. You might not have to change your personality completely, but it's really good to be aware of any potential blind spots or flaws in your character.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Because that means you can keep an eye out for stuff like that. Okay, that was episode 11 of season 5 of Supernatural. I really enjoyed this episode. It was really good. Okay, where do we start? I took a couple of minutes to think about this. So, there's a couple of things we can talk about. I think where we're going to start is with hunters. When it comes to people in professions like law enforcement or like emergency response, like paramedics and stuff, those people often have issues because they're called in and have to witness stuff that's messed up, you know? So Martin being here and like hunters in general, that's very believable. I don't see how they would not be very overrepresented in like suicides or in places like mental hospitals and stuff like that, like psych wards. Like they see so many messed up things. So like going crazy, whatever that means, it's very believable. I really like this. This was a very neat twist to an episode. But at the same time, especially for hunters, like it's not as if you can go to therapy because, like, well, I mean, if it was a hunter who was also a therapist prior to becoming a hunter, that might work. But like in general, I don't see it, man. It's gonna be really hard. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of hunters were at least slightly crazy. And crazy is a bad word, I guess. I mean, it doesn't. I don't know how to put it. Like crazy is a loaded term. I mean, what we call crazy today, we might not call crazy tomorrow. Like I remember, there's a story of this black guy who applied to, or like tried to go to a college or something, a university or something like that, in the American South. I think this was in the 60s or something. And he was arrested because how dare he, and he was sent to a mental hospital because, I mean, you're crazy. How dare you think that you can go to the same school as white people, basically. He was like, yeah, doctors like wrote, I don't know, there's this like involuntary psychiatric hold. There's a thing where if 2 doctors sign off, you can be basically committed to a psych ward. And they did that for this guy just because he was black and he thought he could go to a school with white people. It's like they thought he was crazy. And like today we know that that's not crazy behavior at all. That's just like it's just stupid to think that someone can't go to your school just because they're a different skin color. It's like, it's stupid. And prior to that, like there's the stereotype of the hysterical woman, who was treated with all sorts of things because like they wanted to make decisions about their own lives, basically. It's like, oh yeah, she's obviously insane. Like women thinking that they can make decisions. She's obviously insane. She's hysterical. Treat her somehow. So like what classifies as normal or crazy is very dependent on what time and place you're in. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like the majority of hunters were at least a little crazy. So I really like this exploration of mental state. Let's just say crazy, because that's the word that Dean used on multiple occasions. In this framework, like when they were talking in the beginning, when they were talking to the doctor about getting, like Dean was talking about getting Sam admitted here, it's like when you hear it out loud, it just sounds so ridiculous. And it makes the show sound silly. But it's not. So I don't know. It was a really good twist, this episode, I thought. And another thing, a thing that I think is very relevant, a thing that I don't see a way around it, but at the same time it's a bit unfortunate, shall we say. Who the Wraith was. Like when in stories have to make sense, So like with this, in this case, who it was became obvious. I thought for a second about Wendy, the nymphomaniac or whatever, because Dean was the first one to go crazy while talking with the imaginary person, and she kissed him first. So I think you were supposed to think that. They thought that as well. And she kissed Sam later, and like a day later or something, and he went insane at a later point. Him as well. So like you're supposed to think that, but like always it's gonna be someone that we have interacted with is always going to be someone we know, or maybe not know, but someone we have met at least, like in this case. And it goes the same with Ellen and Joe in the previous episode. Like, when you understand story structure, you understand that there's only so many options available to the writers. Like in this episode, for instance. It must be someone we met, so it could be like the doctor that Dean was talking to, or the guy who admitted them, or the nurse, or Wendy, or Martin. Martin, probably not. Turned out it wasn't Wendy, and when it became obvious that the doctor that Dean was talking to was imaginary, couldn't be her, and we tried the other doctor, the doctor who admitted them, and it wasn't him, so we know that. That means that there's only one option left, basically. There could be one more option, and that is if it's someone we haven't met. But that is very unsatisfying, because like how were we supposed to have guessed that? And like just introduce someone last second who's like, here's the monster, and it's someone completely unrelated. That's not good writing, you know? And because this show is well written, I think, in like almost every single case, then the answer becomes obvious. And it was the same with the previous episode with Ellen and Joe. Like, at a certain point, there are only one way to go. Like, if they had survived the previous episode, that would have been surprising, actually, to me. But that would have meant that they would have been killed off maybe individually, or at the same time, at some later date. Like maybe at the season finale, for instance, or something. Because, yeah, they're not just going to disappear, you know? There has to be, like, some sort of finality to it. Both from a story perspective and from a practical perspective. Because you don't want to tie up, practically, you don't want to tie up actors and be like, yeah, we need you now. You just, like, we're going to leave you alive and call you back in, like, in 2 years or something. Be ready, because we might need you at some point. And that's not fair for the people playing those roles, you know. And from a story perspective, it's always unsatisfying to leave loose threads hanging. So as like for the previous episode with Lucifer and like the summoning of death and so on, that was a huge deal. And how do you raise the stakes and make that confrontation between Dean and Sam and the cult and Lucifer? How do you make that hit even harder? You make someone give up their life too. So like Joe and Ellen sacrificed themselves so that Dean could have that moment with Lucifer, and then it went the way it did, so it hits harder. Like when you have good writing, stuff becomes obvious. I mean, of course you still need to have seen or read enough to spot those things, but at the same time, like I don't think it's overly hard, I guess. But at the same time, I mean, I'm biased because of all the stuff I have read and like all the practice I've had. I also studied media and filmmaking a bit, and I've also written stuff for an online game. I mean, I guess I'm cheating a bit in that way, you know. And also, I've made plenty of correct guesses while watching Supernatural, and it reinforces my it reinforces my view of like what should happen. Every time I guess something right, I get more confident with my guesses. But to bring it back full circle, it's a bit of a shame because of these rules for writing, it becomes kind of obvious sometimes what's going to happen. As with this case that it was the nurse. Like, when you eliminate the possibilities, she was the only one left. And that takes away a bit of the surprise and like the twists and turns in the story. But at the same time, what's the option? There is no other option, really. Unless you just make it someone completely unrelated. Or if you introduce a bunch of characters, but then that becomes difficult for another reason, you know? Like if we got to know, if they had left the guy alive, Ted, I think his name was, the guy who got strung up. But at the same time, we saw him in the intro seeing what was going on, so we know it couldn't have been him. But basically, like, if you introduce a bunch of other characters and leave them alive and make us interact with them, then you have more of more options. But at the same time, you leave people alive and like you leave loose threads. You want to tie it up neat in a bow so that every character's arc is completed. Anyways, those are some random thoughts. Or maybe not that random. But this was a really fun episode. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed seeing like the conversations Dean had with his imaginary doctor. Those were amazing, I think. And yeah, fun episode overall. But I have to wrap it up because my dog is telling me that it's time to go for a walk. So I'm going to have to do that. Can't wait to see what comes next, though. And yeah, can't wait to get to it. But that is for a different day. For today, I am done, and I thank you very much for joining me. I hope to see you in the next video, but until then, do take care of yourselves, and peace out.